Welcome to the Impact Maker's Journey from Passion to Profits, the podcast showcasing heart-centered coaches, experts, and energy healers who are on a mission to change lives and create meaningful success doing what they love. I'm your host, Wendy Vaughn, business success coach and founder of Impact Maker Coaching. And I've got to be honest, the path from passion to profits is rarely easy, but it's always filled with growth, clarity, and surprising rewards. Now, each week I sit down with inspiring impact makers who have turned their knowledge and wisdom into thriving businesses that are making a meaningful difference for others. I will explore their personal and professional journeys, how they found their calling, and how they continue to stay aligned with their passion along the way. So if you're here to expand your vision about what's possible for yourself, you're in the right place. So join me as we discover the positive ripple effects created by today's guest. All right. Hi there. I am super excited for my conversation today. I have as my guest, Dr. Susie Carder. Now, Dr. Susie is a profit coach and fractional COO to entrepreneurs. So welcome, Dr. Susie. I am so excited to have as my guest today.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And you know what, Wendy, thank you for everything you do. Like we definitely need as entrepreneurs, your secret weapon, right? That sales, that strategy, leveraging the money, leveraging your talent, leveraging your content. So thank you for who you are and what you do in the
Oh,
world.
absolutely. Wow. I appreciate that. Ditto back to you. And we're going to uncover exactly what it is you do to make that profound difference. So, and I'm just excited to discover, you know, more about this important work that you're doing and just a little peek into the business journey that you've been on, because I know you're making some serious waves out there in a big way.
We are. We're doing some big stuff. We're traveling all over the world, helping entrepreneurs leverage their money, buy the money, scale their business, sell their business if they choose, but do it profitably.
Yeah, amen to that, right? We don't
Yeah.
want any fire sales. um yeah, it's all about doing things with a strategy that works. So I love
Yeah.
that. And I think you'll probably agree, based on your expertise, that and what I've discovered as a business coach is that every professional heart-centered coach and energy worker goes on a journey that includes both business development and personal development, that inner work, that growing into having a bigger presence, all with the vision of or mission of making a meaningful difference for others. And I believe that ultimately the ripple effects of that meaningful difference result in making a positive impact globally. And I know you're out there doing that, person by person, business by business. So, but the journey from passion to profits is not easy, nor is it the same for everyone. So I'd love to hear just a little bit about your journey. So curiously, um, how long have you been a coach and a fractional COO? And if you could also weave in, what prompted you to pursue this as a profession?
I'd love to do that. So what started as I was a hairdresser, right? And I did $250,000 a year, 3 days a week. And Paul Mitchell said, "Hey, how are you doing this? Can you teach our team, our clients?" And I'm like, "Sure," not knowing what that was, Wendy. When I'm like,
Wow.
"Sure." So I started, I've been in the industry over 40 years. I've been doing strategic development and coaching for 30 years. So I'm seasoned doing this for
Yep.
a long
Yep.
time. And I really started from my client. Like
And I
I
was
didn't
going to say, you must have started, by the looks of you, you must have started when you were about 10.
have a really good esthetician, girl. I am seasoned. Trust me. I think like I'm all, how did I get my parents' age? Although they're deceased now, but I'm like, how did I get this old?
I can totally relate. Anyway, back to your story. Sorry for that digression.
So I started really consulting on accident. Just Paul Mitchell wanted me to help him. And I went into salons and spas and said, here's what you need to do sales, marketing, operations, and finance. The reality is
Wow.
15% of our financial success is based on the vocation. Doesn't matter if you're a doctor, doesn't matter if you're a hairdresser, doesn't matter if you're a chiropractor, doesn't matter if you're a dentist, doesn't matter if you're an MD, it doesn't matter what the vocation is. Only 15% of our financial success is based on our technical ability. The other 85 is sales, marketing, operations. We talked about in the green room, personal development. It's all that stuff, which is my jam and what I love to do. And
Yeah.
I created it based on just finding the need, filling the need, finding the need, filling the need, just
Hmm.
looking at what were people doing. We had one of the top salons in the country. We're the top 1% in the nation, top 10% in the world. And we earned that right by the dollars we produced. We weren't the biggest salon.
Hmm.
We only had 1,200 square feet, but we were doing $1 million. For a salon and spa to do $1 million, on average, there's only 1% of those
Wow.
salons and spas in the country today. And
Wow.
then I started teaching at a Millionaire Summit, and they're like, Susie, we love what you do. Will you teach us? I'm like, I don't know anything about all these other vocations. For
Yeah.
years, Wendy, I said, no, 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 I'm just an expert in the salon and spa
It's
industry.
in this one industry. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is personal development. I let that little naysayer in my head going, well, you don't know anything about chiropractors. You don't know anything about graphic designers. You don't know anything about being an attorney. And I
Mm.
let my smallness dictate where I was going. But you know how God works. I'll call it God. Everybody can call it whatever else. There's always that knock on the door, like it kept coming, it kept coming. And I had this brilliant idea. I said, I'm going to double my fee. They're not going to pay that, right? And then they'll just leave me alone. Like, don't talk about sabotage, right? Limiting belief, all up in my head. And so,
Well, I mean, I have to give you kudos though for thinking I'm going to double my rates, because a lot of the coaches and energy workers, they're afraid, and a lot of inner work there is holding them back. So anyway, I just want to acknowledge you for that. That's,
thank you.
you
So
know,
I doubled my fees, and immediately a client came to me and said, okay. And I'm like, oh shit. And he said, okay. So here's what I realized, and just being bold enough to say, okay, is business is business is business. Now there's cost of goods, right? There's supplies, there's things you have to manage inside the budget, but accounting firms that we have all the percentages of budget that industry should provide, but it's all the same: sales, marketing, operations, and finance.
yep.
Team, people. So I started with this. My first outside of the beauty industry was they had a jewelry store and they had a hardware store. So the hardware store was the anchor store. The jewelry store, the mom said, I'm not selling hammers, I'm selling diamonds, and I'm going to sell nice diamonds. And so
Hmm.
when they met me, they're like, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to grow it. We think we want to take the jewelry store out. The jewelry store was doing 8 million. The hardware store was doing 1 million. So I'm like, no, we don't want to take it out of the hardware store. The hardware store is bringing us the revenue or the people, because it was like an average Joe, right? He's not going to go into a
Yeah.
fancy jewelry store. He's not going to talk to a sophisticated salesperson. So
Right.
mom would just go, Earl, it's Melanie's birthday. You got to get her something nice. And so she'd sell earrings and bracelets and nice watches. And so we created this whole plan to move the entire store to a bigger location, make the jewelry store a little bit more appealing, because it started like at this little side hustle for the mom,
Hmm.
and just made it look more professional, but not intimidating based on that ideal client. And
Hmm.
so that really showed me, well, it's a hardware store and a jewelry store. And I'm like, if I can do this, I can do anything, right? That
Oh,
was like an amazing, like a learning
that was,
curve, serious
yeah.
curve on all
And talk
first.
about validation for you.
Yes.
Just say, oh, okay, all right, we can blend. I have this sense. I have this superpower. I can see peanut butter and jelly coming together and being a smash hit.
Yes. And I think a lot of times you just have to risk. I just had to risk. Like I tried to sabotage myself and go, I'm going to charge double. And then they just kept saying, okay. So I'm like, okay, well, I've just got to risk. And if I fail, I fail. And if I don't, I don't. And entrepreneurs, we're stubborn. We don't like to fail. So we just keep trying to reinvent it and how I'm going to make it work.
Right.
And so built the largest training and development company and sold that to Ritger's Publishing, right? That was in the beauty industry. And so when I
Okay.
sold that company, I had a non-compete. So I completely went into the entrepreneurial space. And I've been here, for the last 30 years, helping entrepreneurs grow their business, scale their business, systematize their business so they don't own a job anymore. They truly
Hmm.
own a business.
So
Provide them
why
freedom.
entrepreneurs? Just curiously versus, those big corporations, because the value of your work, the brilliance, the knowledge, the skills, the hands-on, get it done kind of methodology is applicable to the bigger corporations. Why entrepreneurs? Just curiously.
That's my heart. I'm an entrepreneur, and nobody was teaching what I was teaching. I wanted to learn from a woman. I wanted to learn from a powerful woman, right? Back in the day, I'm aging myself, girl. It was just men teaching, right,
Oh
on
yeah,
platforms, and there was no business women and business women that were suited and booted. Like when I first started, I would wear a black suit, like really, I had really short hair because I was trying to be a man,
kind of blend
right?
in, right?
Yeah, trying to fit in like what I thought the social norm was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I want to see me, right? Me as a businesswoman and me being, I was a mom and a single
Yeah.
mom raising two kids, and it was relatable.
Right.
So our client base, their sales are anywhere between a million and 50 million. So they're still small business,
Okay.
right? But it allows me to help them grow double, triple sales. Where
Mm-hmm.
corporations, there's a lot of red tape. We do leadership training in
Mm-hmm.
corporations. That's just not my heart. My
It's
heart
a
is
slower moving process and a lot of protocols and whatnot. With an entrepreneur, it's like they see it, they're hungry for it, they're creative individuals,
right.
they move.
And that's what money is. Money is creative. I
Yeah.
choose the money, like people call me the profit coach. My clients gave me that name because money is creative. And when I learned that as an entrepreneur, that we're creating our financial well-being or
Right.
we're sabotaging our financial well-being. And I always tell a
Right.
story like, dude, I do it too.
Cutting it off.
Right. I realize every level, right? We all have heard the saying next level, next devil. So every level, if you're starting out with 250,000, you go to half a million, it's a different business. Half a million to a million is a completely different business. A
Mm-hmm.
million to
Well, it's a
five
different
million.
person too,
Right.
right?
You've
Yeah.
got to really reshape your thinking because people go, oh, my mindset's great. Well, it's great for where your business is right now, but if we
Right.
double it, what's going to happen?
Well,
Right.
it won't double until this doubles, right?
Well, when I put the strategy in, we'll do it in place, and then they get nervous and all the
Yeah,
things we have to do.
exactly.
They
And
start
maybe
sabotaging.
self-sabotage or something,
Yeah.
something will happen. So yeah, definitely a dual journey. So I love
And
that.
it happens to all of us. I had a client, we were working together, Sharon. I love Sharon, right? I tell her story all the time. She was working on $1 billion project. Now, I've worked on multi-million-dollar projects, right? $50 million projects, but I'd never worked on a B, right? I had that B.
And
And so,
and prod I like the word project. It's not
right,
like she had $1 billion business. It was a project.
it was a project,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
A multi-million-dollar business, and this project, when we got in there, it's $1 billion, and we're talking to the cities, right? We're talking to committees, and all of a sudden, I noticed myself sabotaging.
Mm,
Like my little mind was saying, "Well, you don't know anything about $1 billion business. All that stuff that came in, I'm not good enough. Who am
shiz.
I to think I could do that?" Right?
Right. Who
I
am I? Who am
totally
I to think? Who am I to
right.
think I can do? Who am I? It's like, yeah,
Totally sabotaged it, right? Just drop the ball. And it literally took me about a year to realize that my limiting belief was right in my face. Because I had set my excuses are sexy. Like they look good. You would believe all my excuses, right? But at the end of the day, they're an excuse,
yeah,
right? The crystals on it and sparkled, and anyone would go like, oh yeah, there's no way you could have taken that on, right? Was sitting there going, oh my gosh, check it out. Like it's just reaffirmation of wherever you are, the next big level you're playing, you got to work simultaneously on the mindset. You got to work simultaneously on your own personal development. You
yeah.
can't just go, I've got it done. And I'm just speaking, I've been doing this for a long time. And so, if I'm getting stopped, you're getting stopped and go, how do I work through it? Who do I
Mm-hmm.
need to help me right now to get me
Mm-hmm.
to that next level?
Yeah, yeah. So, well, so just curiously, what are three lessons that you've learned throughout the years, of your coaching, of your career that have supported you in becoming the person that you are today and that could be of benefit to others?
Yeah, the first thing you want to do is you need to find a tribe and a community that's playing 10 steps ahead of you. You never want to be the biggest fish in the pond. So either that's a coach that's playing 10 steps ahead of you, and you need to ask the coaches. So if you're a sales coach and a sales performance coach, well, I'm
Maybe
gonna
business development, basically the
yeah,
whole kind of, process of creating a business. So go ahead.
So I'm going to ask, what's your business doing? How many people do you have? I'm going to ask the nitty gritty to see, are we comparable? Am I playing bigger than you? And not that someone, if I'm playing bigger than you, you can't coach me, but you want someone that's 10 steps ahead of you
Yeah.
to get rid of that learning curve quicker, faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Compress
have
the time.
a business coach, three financial coaches, right? One's a tax strategist, one's a retirement strategist, and one's my CPA, right? So small business strategist. I have a personal development coach, AKA therapist, right? I've got a fitness coach, I've got a health coach. Now, I don't hire them all at the same time, but I have them when I go, oh, check me out. I sabotage myself. I need to go to my personal development person. What do I
Mhm.
need to work on? Because this just crept in out of nowhere. And that cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
Yep,
Because
yep.
once
And
you
that's
sabotage,
and that's being real with yourself. It's been like totally taking ownership of the fact, okay, that what I'm doing right now, how I'm thinking is costing me six figures, seven figures. So I'm going to invest
easily,
to get this fixed because obviously it, exponentially supports my growth
right.
and the ability to make a difference for others.
And when I think the power in is just noticing, I didn't have to have the answer. I just noticed it and went, I don't even know where it came from, right? But it was an old belief that came from generations, right? It was a generational belief of not good enough, no money, all
Right.
that stuff you overcome. And it just whoosh came up. So that's the first thing is find really good coaches that support you in what's next. Not all of them. Don't do it all at one time. Like,
Mhm.
what do I need right now? Do I need a plan? So that's the second thing. You have to have a plan, right? You have to have a formal business plan that says, here's where I want to go. Here's my sales projections. Here's my budgets. So you're not flying blind. So many times we start businesses and we just fly blind.
Yeah.
Going, I want to make $1 million. Okay, how? Let's back it up. Let's look at what do we need to charge. Let's
Who are you? What are you offering? Who are you serving?
right.
I don't know. I don't know. And it's just like, okay, well, we need to back up here a little bit. We need to know. We need to get crystal clear on, step one.
Right. Because entrepreneurship, there's so many opportunities coming to us. And if you don't
Yeah.
have that plan, you're going, oh, I want to do that. That's fun. Oh, Wendy's doing this. I want to do it. But if it doesn't fit in my plan, I'm going to say, no, not right now. Doesn't mean no, not ever, but
Mm-hmm.
no, not right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the
Sometimes
second.
it's really difficult to have that discernment, though. When you're in in that beginning phase, in the kind of overwhelm, or like for a business, like an entrepreneur, maybe they are used to being the hands-on owner operator, and now bringing on a team has thrown them into a different skill set of being a manager, a leader, that they don't have those skills, you know and so it just takes, I guess, a lot of people struggle with, well, how do I know what I need if I don't know what I don't know?
Right. That's where a great coach comes from. That's where somebody like you comes in. Because you're going to ask, we all know it in our head. People are like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I don't know how to write a business plan. It's truly in your head. Just answer the questions.
Yeah.
Don't think too much about it, but just go, here's my ideal client. Now, you and myself we'll dive deep in it, like, okay, that's too generic. Give me some more, give me some more, give me some more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yep.
in the sales plan, it's like, well, how many, I used to think back in the day, this is my naivety. Like if I was doing $1 million, okay, I only needed to sell 10 of these things at 100 grand to do that million. I'm making that number up, right?
Right.
I wasn't considering I need 1,000 leads to get those 10 qualified people, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many looky-loos. So it's under really reverse engineering it to go, well, we need 1,000 qualified leads just to close 10. Where before I
Well,
go,
and
I
the
need
word that
10.
you just slipped in so quickly, qualified.
Yes.
Qualified, a lot of people don't understand that.
Yes.
So they think that, oh, those people need me,
Right.
but
Or I have
it's
a
not
thousand
that.
leads in, I should be able to close 10, but not if they can't afford 100 grand, right? Or 10 grand or 2 grand or 1 grand,
Yeah,
whatever.
or not even the can't afford as much as if what you're offering matters
Yeah,
most to them,
exactly.
because
Juicy.
money is all relative.
Right. And money's all around us, right? Because
And
you know, and I know when I want something, I'm getting it. There's never a
exactly,
budget for it, whatever it
exactly. If one of my kids called me and said, "Mom, blah 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 blah, I need 10 grand," and it's like, if I realize that's, oh my God, he needs 10 grand, I'm coming up with it somehow. But if
is.
he calls and says, "Hey mom, it's my birthday, I need 10 grand," it's like, forget it.
Good luck with that.
So money is, based on, again, how we have the clarity around the alignment with what matters most to us, and knowing that, okay, if this is what I need in order for my business to produce that,
Yes.
and Dr. Susie, you have a proven strategy, then, the investment is like a no-brainer, because you can see it as the, return on investment.
Exactly. I built 10 multi-million-dollar businesses, two $10 million businesses. Like I understand what it takes, right? And that's when I say you want to find someone that's 10 steps ahead of you, because that's going to shave your learning curve,
Yeah.
at least 5 to 10 years, right? Just having someone that has walked that path by going, no, 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 don't do that, do this. No, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
that's not that, this, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
I know, Wendy, there's so many charlatans in this industry. There really are. So due diligence is imperative to say,
Mm-hmm.
is this not just skill set,
Yeah.
but personality, to make sure that you get me and I get you and
Right.
all
Well,
that.
results matter, Dr.
Yes.
Susie. There's a lot of content and great information, and it's like, ooh, and it can clutter our brains, but results.
Yeah,
It's like you deliver results. It's like, okay, we've got a $1 billion project, let's make it happen.
exactly.
And knowing the strategy to create the results versus the, okay, well, let's do this effort and effort and effort and then hope. So
Right.
that's like the night and day between people like you who just have an entire career of wisdom. There, 3 decades that you can laser in and compress the time for others in their business journeys. So yeah, that is. So what inspires you? I mean, I can feel the energy, right? I can feel your excitement, but I'd love to hear you say what inspires you to keep this passion refueled about doing the work that you're doing.
What inspires me is my clients, right? They taking someone that has pushed it as far as they can go and then re-engineer the business and then be able to 25, 30, 40, 50% increase because we tweaked it, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be strategic. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so passionate about Wendy because I sucked at it. I did everything wrong, right? I couldn't balance my checkbook, right? I had to figure out how to learn QuickBooks, right? I was so bad at it that I would close a checkbook down, open another one because I couldn't balance it. So I want you to know there is hope. This DR is not in front of my name because I got it from everything that I'm doing. I didn't have it when I first started business. I just got
Yeah.
that years ago, right?
Yep.
So the more you learn, the more you earn. It's just keeping putting in that information. So I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant. I'm a rogue entrepreneur going, I need to make 1 million. I need to make 200. I need to make 100, whatever that number is. How
Mm-hmm.
do I get there? And so
Mm-hmm.
when that light turns on for us, that's worth its weight in gold. Yeah, that's why I do what I
That's
do.
that's why you wake up every morning going, all right, here we go. Here we
Yes.
go.
So I'm
Game
going to be
on.
on a podcast. I'm going to speak,
There you
whatever. How
go.
can I find my people?
Yeah, because where are you right now? You're not at your home office, I don't think.
No, I'm traveling. I'm in San Diego. So I was in
San
San Francisco
Diego.
last week and San Diego the next 2 weeks. And
Just getting out there and making it happen, loving life, doing business, creating more good. I
yeah,
love that. And
different.
as I mentioned earlier, I believe that helping people to achieve those new levels of success, financial security, business owners, really it's all about creating that happiness and joy for
Yeah,
them.
yes,
And
yeah,
one of my mentors, early in my career, was Mark Victor Hansen. The
yes.
co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Love
Wasn't
Mark.
my direct mentor, but I was in what was called a 3% club with him and Bob Proctor. And one of the things he pulled me aside and he said, Wendy, and this is something that he's really known for. So it's not like he just shared it with me. He's like
Right.
known for this. He said, Wendy, you need to have a big, hairy, audacious goal, something that fuels your passion and
Yeah.
and helps you like get out of your own way, helps you to just live life large, go for it, think big. And I've had various BHAGs, as he calls them, throughout my career, 3 decades here myself. I know I'm looking like not a day over 30. But for me, my current BHAG is to empower 1,000 coaches and healers
Mm,
to build those thriving businesses so that they can make their biggest impact, have a lifestyle they love, because I feel like the ripple effects from their work truly is making that our world a better place. So Dr. Susie, passing the baton to you, do you have a big audacious goal that you're currently
We
working on, or a
do.
vision, or what?
We do. So we have 1 million entrepreneurs. We're at
Uh-oh, we just froze. Dang it. What's going on? Dr. Susie froze. There we go. We're back.
we're back.
Okay,
Did
I'll
I-
edit this. I'll edit this, so don't worry. So I'll just start with, so Dr. Susie, do you have a big audacious goal that's got you jazzed and seeing the world differently?
It does. I've had this goal. So our goal is to touch 1 million entrepreneurs and change their lives for the better.
Wow.
So
Wow. Woo-hoo-hoo.
we're at 700,000, girl. So we are truly and counting. So it's all about teaching you how to build, how to scale, how to monetize. Like that's exciting because once you do it once, right? We don't want success by accident. I want
Right.
it duplicatable. So whatever industry you go into, right? That was the biggest lesson of going into the hardware store and the jewelry store, whatever industry you go into. Doesn't have to be the one that was your vocation to go, what do I want to play in next? And that's what I love about business is you get to play and then be financially rewarded.
Yep. I love that. So what's the best way for people to better understand if your support, your expertise, your fractional COO service, your profit coach service
Yeah.
is the answer to their quest to becoming, that extremely successful, profitable entrepreneur? What's
Yeah.
the next step?
So you can find me by my name, Susie Carder, CARD as in dollar, dinero, delicious, ER.
Look in the show notes, listeners, for the link.
We've got a ton of free content between our YouTube, our social media, our blogs, our podcasts. So anyway, that way. And then another way is we're giving you our free health assessment. I love assessments. I love quizzes. I love to see where am I at and what do I need to put
Okay,
in it.
wait. Health assessment. Are you talking about business?
It's a business health assessment.
Business health. Okay.
Business health assessment. Your
Not going to come
business.
with you with my achy back. No,
Yeah.
this is business health. Okay.
Business health, like what do we need to work on? And it's completely customized to your business.
Okay.
Right? Like, what are your blind spots? What do you need? Because sometimes that's all you need is just to go, what do I focus on first?
Yeah.
And so go and take that. It's in the show notes, like so that you can really determine what's next for me and find, am I next for you? Is Wendy next for you? Is somebody else next for you? And the reality, coaches like Wendy and I, if you're not ready for us, we're going to recommend the right coach for you. If somebody needs to work on their mindset first, like they can't even think of multi-million, it's not going to be me first. That's too expensive, right? I'm going to refer you to somebody else.
Well, it's not just too expensive. It's just some of the concepts aren't going to land. Some of
right.
again, money is relevant, right? But like you said, next steps. It's always next steps best. And then you'll be ready for Dr. Susie. If seeing yourself as a 7, 8, 9 figure business.
Yeah. Which is exciting,
Yeah. And you want to help them serve 1 million of them. So I love that.
Exactly.
Well, Dr. Susie, this has been fantastic. I have loved our conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your vision, your purpose, your mission. It's just definitely been very inspirational. And I know you've touched a lot of hearts and fired the fuel for a lot of people.
Yes, girl. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me and sharing me with your community. And I look forward to doing the same for you.
Awesome. All right. Well, the real life transformations facilitated by experts like my guest today are truly priceless. I mean, happiness, joy, peace, love, right? These are all what each of us ultimately strives for in life. But becoming a sought after and well-paid coach or energy healer is often challenging, overwhelming, and frustrating. So if you're a heart-centered coach, expert, or energy healer who's striving for more ease, flow, and abundance, well, I've created a special gift just for you. So check out the show notes. All right. Well, this is Wendy Vaughn signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to join me for my next episode where we'll be inspired by yet another impact maker's journey.